What a beautiful evening. What a great day for professional surfing here at the Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro, presented by GWM. I just walked up the bluff and an Aussie said, "Get your tins out, mate." Well, that means it's time for the Stone and Wood post show. So many great highlights, unbelievable performances. It was all about finishing the round of 32 for the men. When we got here, we finished the round of 16, set up the quarterfinals, and some of the most hi-fi matchups we've really had all season. Thanks for being with us, Joe Turpel, Richie Lovett, Laura Enever. Standout performances for you. I mean, how do we even list them all in one sentence, Richie?
I know, it's been an incredible day. Best day of competition we've had, obviously. Just so many excellent rides. I think back to, what Julian did at the start of the day and then what he did in his backup heat, and then just watching that last one with Kanoa and the local guy, Liam. Oh, my goodness.
The energy when there's a local in the water, especially for Liam O'Brien, was sensational, Laura. I mean, he got himself back in that heat. There was just such a buzz on the headland today.
Oh, man, the headland was rumbling. It was shaking. There was so many Liam lobby heads all over the beach today. And, there were so many kids who got the day off school. They were just like, this is the best thing ever. So unfortunately, Liam couldn't get the job done there. But, even his fight back to get that 9-point ride at the end of the heat, everyone was just sitting there. You could feel the energy and, you just couldn't count him out until literally the buzzer sounded.
I mean, yeah, it's so true. When you have that kind of never give up attitude, that's always going to get people on their feet celebrating Liam's comeback there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he had that incredible heat through the day as well. And the crowd was real fired up, and they went quiet for a little while there when Kanoa got his 2 excellent rides, but then they layed up when he made the comeback.
And he got the jump, he got the jump on him so quickly. Kanoa is so good under pressure with all that crowd.
Are you guys surprised that we had a lot of the older guard win heats today? I mean, there was explosive surfing. We're talking big airs. Sometimes that's led by the youthful movement on tour, but it seemed like, from Jordy to Julian, Alejo Muniz, there's a lot of people in the 30-plus cup that were victorious today.
Yeah, it's great that they're doing it for the older crew. I love this. And that's the sport these days. It's the older crew are getting pushed by the youth that are coming through, and you've got to stay in your game. Otherwise, you'll be kicked off this train.
I mean, and it's cool because you think of, obviously, Jordy, Filipe, and Julian today, all that they came on at the same time, and they all have had a bit of a break, come back. Well, I guess Jordy hasn't really, but they're surfing relaxed, and in all their interviews they're saying how much fun they're having and how it's just feeling different, and they got nothing to prove and they're doing their best surfing.
Well, the story has been sensational for a man named Julian Wilson, coming from Coolum Beach, former runner-up in the world. Didn't just get gifted a spot in the event. He came through the trials and woke up this morning going, wow, I've got an early start. And we saw some fireworks in one of the best airs we've seen all season.
This was incredible. Just the giant straight slob air, and Jules, he sort of, this is a trademark air that he used to go to when he was a little younger, but he clearly still has it down on lock, and he kind of just went from strength to strength through the whole day, kept building that confidence, the momentum keeps going, and he finds himself into finals day.
This heat was crazy. This was the 9.5. What a read. When you're in this kind of flow and form, he was truly unstoppable.
His wave gave him absolutely everything, and you can just tell he's surfing so freed up, and he actually said, it was pretty funny in his interview, he was like, I got down here so late with the kids, thought it was a 7:30 start. He's like, I didn't even have time to look at the wave, so I kind of just went out there and surfed, and it was just it was an absolute banger of a heat.
Marco Mignot went to town, losing with a 14.96 combined total. He had his hands full with Julian Wilson. I hope he's holding his head high because he was ripping today.
Yeah, he had 2 heats today. The first one, a little scrappy, and then he actually really manned up against Julian Wilson. He was unfazed by the pressure. There's obviously a bit of a story behind Jules at the moment, and a lot of people buying into it, but Marco just stayed on his game. And man, he is improving with every single event. He keeps you guessing just with these big airs that he's laying down. Yeah. And he's got a lot of flair. But as you said, Joe, that's a healthy heat total there. 14, almost 15 points. But Jules was just on fire.
It's just his brand of surfing. He was thanking JS today. He was like, I haven't really ridden boards like this since I was on tour 4 years ago. And it just felt like he was putting on his favorite clothes, his extension of his body. And that was evident. 8.5, biggest slob of the season, 9.5 overall performance. And by the way, Laura, he beat world #1 earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Italo Ferreira going down in that first
It's
heat.
all blending together. He's had so many good waves. Hey, what was that stat today that he actually, he's got 18+ heat totals.
Wow.
I think he was tying with Owen Wright and in the stat book. And
You're right.
Yeah, and he's broken into 18 points. I'm like, that's just far too many good waves
huge.
to be one person to be having.
Yeah, and it's after a long break. You know, like
Exactly.
showing no signs of rust. Richie, I've talked to you about this, of this rust you can feel when you just don't have a jersey on. You could be surfing all day.
Yeah.
But just that feeling and the energy a comp gives you, you can't replicate it even in mock heats. And
No.
there's nothing there, no signs of him showing any forms of rust today.
No, he's really picked up the ball really quickly. And, you know, not to mention that, you know, while he's been away from the tour, he hasn't been riding fully, you know, scooped out high performance shortboards. He's been mucking around on 20s and mid lengths even, and just kind of not taking it serious. And to your point, you can lose that edge super quickly, you know, and you can lose that speed. And I reckon if you look at Jules in the trials versus Jules in the heats today, he's actually increased his energy rate and he's increased in the speed that he's approaching the wave, and it's actually serving him perfectly.
Yeah, he was telling you earlier he didn't dream of this. You know, he wanted to get through a tough trials. Now he's in the quarterfinals like he never went anywhere, Laura.
Yeah, well, I guess his sort of goal and plan for this year was get that wild card in the Challenger Series and given it a red hot crack, and now he's into finals day at the Gold Coast Pro, so it's absolutely wild.
What's happening now will actually fuel his Challenger Series campaign even more, because it's like, oh my gosh, I really want to be back there now, you know. So I feel like we're going to see him hit the Challenger Series with a vengeance.
Looking forward to Julian on finals day. Another guy from his generation, Jordy Smith, oldest guy on tour full time these days, was going crazy against Joao Chianca just a couple of heats ago. 2 regular footers battling, 17+ total when it was all said and done for Jordy Smith. What did you see in this one, Richie?
Oh, this was such a fun heat. You know, it's the real energetic flair of Joao started strong, picked up this little gem here, and you can see just some beautiful surfing. And he bagged an 8-point ride here. And then Jordy just found a couple of gems. This one almost had a bit of kind of a J-Bay line to it. Watch him come out of this move with all this speed. And this is where Jordy really shines, where he just harnesses all this power and then he lets it go at these big explosive moments. And this was the comeback wave, and then he just built from here. Found this little nugget just under priority. Full drainer, just a beautiful little tube there. And then he got some great work done down the line as well. So yeah, Jordy's just another one who's feeling the energy of these events, feeling the energy of where he is on the ratings at the moment. Every time he's looking at that thing, he's seeing himself in the top 5, and that's doing wonders for him.
Oh, all he wants to do is go for barrel with his opponent. And how about this one, just going inside out all over Joao Chianca, Laura?
Oh, this is just so exciting. This was at the very end of the heat. Joao was scratching around, just hoping he could get a chance, and he did. He got an 8-point ride on this. He was, you know, right there, but unfortunately, Jordy was just a bit too good for him today, and it was just all around. I would say that was oh, they've just been so many good heats.
So many good
My
heats.
mind's blown.
And also just those big barrels, they weren't just every heat. You know, you had to have rhythm with the ocean. You had to be in the right spot on the right time on this gigantic playing field. Talk about big numbers, 917, 810. And Chianca, unfortunately, has been famous for big heats in the loss. That was how his rookie reputation started. He loves to push the best. Unfortunately, it was against Jordy Smith today, and that 16-point total didn't count for a win.
No, unfortunately, Joao just not getting the win. But I guess, you know, you got to come out of these heats, dissect them, and go, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How did I lose this heat? But in this one, it's like, you know what? He performed so good on every wave. I guess the only thing he can kind of look at is going, oh, maybe I gave Jordy that wave.
Yeah, that's a big point there. Laura, before you came in to join us on the Stone and Wood Post Show, you were able to catch up with Jordy Smith.
Wow, George, what a way to finish this beautiful Friday afternoon here at Burleigh Heads. I mean, talk us through that wave under priority and just that whole heat. That was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, she said, I'll start at the beginning. I kind of was pushing a little too hard in the beginning, and then Yeah, you know, I had a wave and I went wide. I said, oh, let me just finish one, kind of get in the 5-5 range or something. And then on my way back out, I don't know, my gut was telling me just stay wide here. I haven't surfed down in the middle of the beach all week long. And I said, something's coming here, something's coming here. And then sure enough, I got that 8 over there. And I was like, all right, well, that's put me back in contention. And then the wave that we were both looking at the barrel, it really started to slurp up on that bank right in that moment. It was like the tide hit it perfectly and it was just enough. And I could see his tactic was to obviously try and sell me on that wave. But the more he was trying to sell, I only needed, I think, like a 6 or something. And so I was like, oh, right where I am is perfect to probably get a 6.5 or like in the barrel. And then he just kept kind of pushing me and paddling me a little deeper. And I was like, oh, you're going to paddle me right into a 9 here, boy. And the next thing, I was like, oh, if I make it, it's going to be a sick wave. And sure enough, came flying out, did a couple turns, and that was it. And then he got a backup too, you know, he got a chance at it. And it was kind of scary at that moment because I think we both knew that if you just got the right wave there, it was going to drain.
So good. I mean, obviously looking at this event, you got, 1 and 2 out. I mean, Ethan and Idolo. So, I mean, how are you sort of approaching that? Are you thinking about that at all?
Every now and then it crosses your mind, but not really. I don't like sit and dwell on it. I mean, I've just, their results have got nothing to do with me. But yeah, I just go out there and surf, bro. I'm so lighthearted at the moment. I'm so like free flowing. It feels good. And yeah, I feel like I just got nothing to lose and just go swing and see how we go.
Yeah, you're absolutely on. Everyone's saying that you're looking lighter and like you're just surfing better than ever right now. You've spent a lot of time away from your family, your new son, and obviously Ziggy, Sonny, Lyndall. Anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, just love you guys. And sorry I can't be home for Mother's Day this weekend, but I love you and yeah, I'll do my best.
Amazing. Thanks, George.
Thanks.
What a great run for Jordy Smith. Gosh, that was insane. I mean, those are the heats you dream of. You want to see him on a sand bottom point, just getting drained. It reminds me of his parts he'd put together at Mozambique. Well, we just had another great heat come to a close. Kanoa Igarashi getting the jump on local hero Liam O'Brien. Kanoa now standing by with Kaipo.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. What a start, Kanoa. It looked like everything went your way in that heat.
Yeah, it did. I mean, when you start with an 8.5, it's a lot of things normally go your way, but yeah, I feel like I just kind of I fell into that one. I didn't even know there was really barrels out there, and I just remember taking off and I wanted to do like an opening turn, and the wave was too steep, so I couldn't really do a turn, and so I kind of just had to get low, and the wave just started barreling over me, and my eyes were closed the whole time. And yeah, I mean, that was one of those ones where, wave kind of did everything for me. And luckily I was just in the right place at the right time, and I had a good start.
Best wave you had, best heat of the year?
Yeah, I knew I had to because, Liam, at his home break, I was just thinking when I was paddling out, and I just saw him in the lineup, and it reminded me of when I surf out at Huntington, and he just had that look on his face where he did not care where it was in the water and didn't, he was sitting in his spot, and he looked like he was going to be really hard to beat. Actually, I fully felt that before the heat started, and I just told myself, I need 2 8s. And as soon as that first one happened, I was in the barrel, and I just felt it, it was super turbulent, and I was on the foam ball, and I said, okay, I just got to, just stay low, and just, ride it out. And as soon as I came out, I'm like, okay, maybe I got one of my 8s. I just need one more, and I looked at the watch. There was 29 minutes left. So, my task was simple, but he got that 8, and it made things super interesting, and it was a good heat.
I've seen you at the U.S. Open where the crowd's 100% on your side. You are the opposite here, where the crowd was 100% on lobby. How do you overcome that? What's the feeling with so much energy going towards your competitor?
Yeah, that's it's such a unique one. It's so special. I saw lobby after the heat, and I just said hey, it's so cool. Just to be able to compete at a CT event at your home break. I remember hearing all the chants, and I was in the water, and I just smiled, and I went, that must be a pretty crazy feeling for him. And I didn't have any of those kind of I kind of soaked it in too. I can tell that he was as well, and it was kind of this we're radiating energy out there, and the waves just turned on, the sun came out, there was a rainbow out there, and it was kind of all sort of happening, felt for him, it was all setting up for a perfect finish for him. But I told myself, hey, just get 2 weights. Okay, I got 1. Okay, let me get 1 more. So it was, I mean, that's what I needed. You know, he had 14 points, 15 points as well. So, you know, the plan went well.
Congratulations. We'll see you at finals day. Back to you, Joe.
Good man, Kaipo. Thanks so much, Kanoa. Kanoa just jumped up to number 5 on the live rankings, and what a heat against the local boy. But he's had these big surges when someone's put as the guy to beat, like at Bells. He takes out Ethan Ewing. He's coming in with some crazy flow and just quietly being maybe one of the front runners for the GWM Aussie treble. He might be driving away with a tank at the end of this trip to Oz.
Yeah, it could be. You know, I think about where we're going next over in WA, Margaret River, and he's certainly capable of a win there. So, yeah, it's, that little battle within the battle is heating up, definitely.
We had getting past Liam O'Brien. What a statement that was, because the energy's been all around Lobby throughout this event for good reason, being the local boy, which brings us to our Boost Mobile heat of the day. The energy electric out here. Liam O'Brien just was reveling with all this attention on him in such a good way. Some people get rattled with this kind of pressure, Laura, but he was living up to it, especially against Griffin, who he's never beaten before until today.
Yeah, wow, this heat was just from the get-go. It was like the energy was next level, and it's hard to think that this was actually today still. There's been so many good waves, but you know, Liam just took it to these waves. He surfed literally to perfection. Got a 9.10, I think, and
exactly.
It was just, this wave just kept giving. His surfing was just absolutely amazing, and you could tell he just was surfing for more than himself. You know, he's surfing for his home crowd, surfing for his board riders club, just wanting to put on an absolute show, and yeah, just love seeing him so connected.
Yeah, one of those moments where everything kind of just all happens, and he was right in the middle of that moment. The one thing that Lobby did in this heat, he changed the way the lineup was used. Everyone was down the point. Lobby went, you know what? I'm seeing amazing waves up the point on the cove. And so the local knowledge really coming into play here. He went up there, he set the tone, and then for several heats after that, all the surfers shifted their energy up there. So, you know, he was basically maneuvering energy with what he was doing out there, and just backed it up with some amazing surfing.
And I feel like even though, you know, this was the performance of his year so far, you know, these 2 heats, it was so incredible to see him get those excellent scores, but this is going to hurt the most, you know, at home, just knows this wave so well. It's going to absolutely sting, but he can hold his head high and know that, you know, he put on an incredible show for his home crowd.
Oh, what a key heat win. Big total, getting the 9, and I think he showed people what was possible at Burleigh Heads today. Some people looked a bit lost. We had some tough heats in between the highlights, and things started kind of switching on once people realized how big and good this lineup is. Liam was right at home. Unfortunately, the run just ended, but he's going to be coming in hot to Margaret River.
Yeah, he definitely is, and just, you know, back to the playing field at Burleigh. You know, this is the interesting thing about Burleigh. There are so many personalities to this wave, and you got to figure it out. And it's great watching the world's best doing just that in front of our eyes.
Well, think about the playing field. It changes every day. What do we have in store for what could be finals weekend? Thanks to Surfline for all the reports. All the reports I'm getting from the Burleigh Board Riders Club crew is that, hey, it's looking like it's getting even better tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's you know, it hasn't let us down yet. So the Surfline forecast has been really on point. We obviously had a new energy when we woke up this morning. We had a bit of weather with it, but geez, we had a new swell in the water, really coming out of that southeasterly direction. We had waves, you know, head high and sometimes double overhead. So tomorrow we're looking at 5 to 7 foot faces, and then perhaps a touch bigger on Sunday, and it's going to be a touch bigger because it's going to tick round to the east. So my fear is that maybe it's going to be a little too straight on Sunday, so we might get the bulk of it done tomorrow, but we'll check it out over the weekend. The wind's still going to be fine. You know, we had strong wind out of the southeast today, and it was just, you know, beautifully smooth down here on the point. So yeah, conditions have been great.
Yeah, green colors on both the morning and afternoons heading into the weekend, with a few days left to set up what could be a finals day, with the quarterfinals bracket looking really exciting, Laura, as we break this one down. A lot of these guys surfing through multiple heats today. What's popping out to you as the heat to watch?
Oh, wow. No, these are some incredible heats. I mean, obviously, heat 1 it looks amazing. Filipe has been dropping 8s every heat. Yago's been absolutely amazing. Morgan just on an absolute roll with the last couple of events. And, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for, obviously, to see Jules and Miggy. They've had some great history on tour, but Oh, it's going to be sizzling. What are you thinking, Rich?
I'm just actually thinking Jules Wilson, JS, Miguel Pupo, JS, Jordy Smith,
Oh,
JS,
yes.
Kanoa Igarashi, JS.
Oh my goodness.
So there's a bit of stuff going on there for the local shaper, Jason Stevenson on JS Industries.
He's going to have
looking
someone
good.
in the final.
Yeah, he's going to have someone in the final. But quarter number 4 there, Kanoa against Jordy, that's going to be amazing because both those guys are right up there in the ratings, and there's going to be a battle in that sort of top 5 moment.
Gosh, so many storylines here. You know, Jordy and Julian's been on so many trips together, you know, on Red Bull boat trips, going air for air. Alejo and Julian in the part of the rookie class, the older guard really stepped up. And then you've got all the Aussie wildcard stories and the momentum of Morgan Cibliic. Best he's surfed in his career, and he's already been world number 5. And just being able to get a call up like that to turn into performance, Morgan Cibliic still has a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, he does, absolutely. And you know, he's got Nathan Hedge, former CT competitor, in his corner. And he was saying today, you know, he's had to get back on the tools. You know, he's lifeguarding. He had to go do some labouring, but the boards just feel absolutely mint under his feet at the moment. So carrying a lot of confidence, and geez, he is back in sizzling form.
Wow, what a day. It's time for the BioGland Daily Dose, working out the top 5 moments of a phenomenal Friday at Burleigh Heads. Alejo Muniz was under so much pressure with the cut, with trying to make the quarterfinals, and he did it. 6.6 and a 5.57 against the top seed of Baron Mamiya.
Yeah, this was huge for Alejo. He has jumped up 8 spots after this win, and you know, he went from up to 20th position, but he just kept fighting at the end. He was actually so far down the beach, he had to keep paddling to get into the competition zone, and he got the score right on the buzzer. So, oh man, there's his team there: Adrian D'Souza, Miguel Pupo. The emotion, hey,
He
honestly.
said it was the hardest heat of his life. And number 4 was Filipe Toledo saving himself with a big punt.
Yeah, so Toledo just leaning into what he does best, and that's taking to the air. I had a little chat with Toledo this afternoon after this heat, and just he has such a good energy about him at the moment. He's that real serious edge that he was sort of carrying through the first couple of events. I feel like that's been washed away, and he's really starting to just you know, settle back into the way he likes to compete, and that's really going for it for those big moments.
Number 3 on the BioGland Daily Dose, Morgan Cibliic continues to march into the final 8 surfers in the contest.
And this wave was an absolute doozy. You know, just absolutely tagged, precision, power, time, like everything was just on this wave, and just so stoked to see Morgs. Just, he's just like, what is going on? You know, this is a dream for him too. So crazy that the only 2 Aussies left in the field are wildcards, and they're surfing with so much confidence and with nothing to prove as well. I feel like they're free.
Winning a Kiwi out here recently, so he's had some time here on the point at Burleigh Heads, but he's just bringing it. He knows he belongs. He's had that crazy number 5 finish in the world, but he's bringing out more weapons. Semi-final at Bells, back-to-back final series showing for Morgan Cibliic. This time has a wild card, just taking out Seth Muniz, looking brilliant and enjoying his time here at Burleigh Heads. He was talking about the swell. He's excited for it to increase coming in the next couple of days. And how about number 2 on the BioGland Daily Dose? Jordy and Joao getting drained.
That was such a fun-looking wave. You know, that's one of those little ones that you want at Burleigh. Just a nice, beautiful barrel to start off with. And some open face down the line to do a bit of this incredible rail work. And Jordy just really tidying up, or real tidy, I should say, and just completing those maneuvers. And then Joao found a tunnel of himself. Here we go.
Yeah, this was so exciting. At the very end of the heat, we were thinking, oh, is he going to get another opportunity to, you know, tee off a couple of turns, just the one here? And I think that's what, you know, essentially kept his score down. Jordy got a few more on his 9, and you know, Joao was just hoping, praying that that was enough. That was a huge heat for him, but Jordy, he keeps his run alive. And
gosh, winning the day, number 1 on the BioGland Daily Dose. Julian Wilson absolutely ruling in all of his heats, taking out world number 1, throwing down one of the best punts we've seen all season.
Yeah, it feels like it's, you know, chapter 2 or 3 in the comeback. I'm not going to call it a fairy tale because, I mean, Julian's, he's been there and done that for years and years before. But, you know, this is Jules, you know, making that big mark. And, well, he sent the #1 surfer in the world packing this morning. Idolo having a challenging heat with a broken board right at the start, but then Jules started to warm up in his second heat of the day, taking to the air and really starting to feel free and expressive in these heats. And I just love that air. Really started to get everyone excited, and then he found this little gem, Laura.
Yeah, today's highlights are just absolutely next level. I'm losing it. And this was the wave of the day, obviously, for Jules, and just teeing off, had everything to give on it, and he just surfed it to near perfection, honestly. And a wrap here, and he just said how cool it is, you know, come in and just see his 3 kids, his wife on the beach. It's a whole new version, a whole new time for him, and he's feeling it. He's emotional.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe for Julian Wilson on his comeback. He made a statement clear months back that he really wanted to come back on tour. You know, if you're on social media, you see him on WSL, on Stab Mag. He's typing comments going, I want to come back. He's not shying away from it. He put himself out there very early. And when he was chatting with you earlier, he was like, yeah, I'm manifesting this for next year. I never imagined it would come this early. And we're all benefiting from this performance.
Yeah, it's great. It's easy to buy into Jules now and pick up on the energy. And Jules, at the height of his career, when he was on the tour, you know, he would give us something in the post-hit interviews and stuff, but this is a different Julian Wilson that we're seeing. This is a more mature, a more appreciative man who really knows what he wants to do with his life and knows where he wants to go, knows where he wants to be. And for us, it's lucky because he wants to be here and he wants to get back into it. So we're all stoked.
Easy call for a possible win here for Julian Wilson. A lot of great stories on contenders, but also we got to get updated on stop 2 of the GWM Aussie treble. Kanoa Igarashi just took the lead. Jack Robinson down to 2nd.
Wow, so Jack obviously out of the event quite early, has been pushed down into 2nd, and Kanoa Igarashi just up there in #1 position. But Jordy Smith and Yago Dora still in there, Filipe's still in there as well. So it's not done yet. He doesn't have the keys, he hasn't hit the ignition yet.
And that's right. What a great look at that top picture. Remember, it all closes out after Margaret River. And just to note, Morgan Cibliic not in contention as he's not a full-time competitor on the championship tour. So right now, the lead's in Kanoa's hands. And after eliminating the local boy, Liam O'Brien, he's got Jordy Smith, who's, you know, in that top page as well. Coming up potentially tomorrow on finals day, Jordy versus Kanoa. That's a classic.
Wow. Yeah, no, this is going to be, I mean, the most exciting thing is that we're going to have waves like today, maybe even bigger, maybe even cleaner. We're just going to have, you know, opportunity, and we're going to see some incredible waves just getting, you know, blow for blow. That's what I want to see.
I'm getting nervous if it's finals day tomorrow. I haven't heard event picks yet for the win for the men and women. Are we going there? I'm always allowing you guys to have more time if you want to think about it. We can go there real quick. I could give you the rundown. We've got Filipe in form, Cibliic, there's the Julian Wilson, Jordy Smith. There's a lot there.
I put Filipe as my pick when I did the Fantasy Surfers at the start of the event, so I'll run with Filipe.
So he's your power surfer.
Yeah.
Double points.
Yep.
Laura?
Filipe, Julian final.
Holy smokes. That would be iconic.
Okay.
That's actually happened before on the Gold Coast.
Rematch.
And Filipe got the win back in 2015. On the women's side, remember Steph Gilmore still in the mix. That's a huge story.
I'm saying Steph Mully final, Filipe, Julian.
Wow,
Look
okay.
at that. Now they're coming out quick.
Because
Rick?
we know, guys, so Steph Gilmore won. Imagine if we had 2 wildcards won this event. Steph Gilmore won as a wildcard 20 years ago at this event.
That would have
That's
to be a
never.
record, right? 20 years.
Who's Steph surfing against again?
Steph Gilmore. She has
I
Aaron
didn't see the-
Brooks in quarter 3.
Okay, all right. I might sit on the fence for the women. I'm gonna see what happens in the
Let
quarters.
that play out, yeah.
Yeah, just gonna let it play out.
That's fair enough. Make your choices at home around the world. We're going to be waking up pretty early tomorrow. 6:45 call, maybe 7 o'clock start for the quarterfinals. Enjoy the highlights, and we'll see you bright and early. Take care.
Let's go.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.